All right, so these are some general comments about exam one. Please study everything, but these are some things to keep in mind as you prepare. Obviously, a study guide is just an extra thing. Your real studying shouldn't be just based on an extra study guide. So these are some things I put on the exam. So what's marketing? Like, what do people think of when they hear the definition of marketing? Obviously, what does STP stand for? We talked a little bit about, the book talks a little bit about deontological ethics. I wanted you to know that. What is marketing? What is its relationship in terms of its evidence, at large, whether society markets the customers, et cetera, et cetera? Has it shown any evolution, in other words? What do marketing gurus in general think that marketing's role is in a company? What are the 4 P's? So that should obviously be one of those that's sort of a duh, right, for this test. So the company orientations, these are the kind of things you would see in product sales, those kinds of things in an intro class. So we're going to hit those again just to make sure we understand them before the project. You want to know the marketing framework, the 5 C's, and that kind of thing. You want to know about segmentation and positioning, as well as, again, 4P issues like promotion and stuff. You want to know purchase process, the pre-purchase, purchase, and post-purchase kind of thing. That plays a little bit of plays a role in the test. Things like the broad array of things you consider before making a decision. Don't email me about that one because I'm not giving you the answer. But what do people think about with all the options that they have in their mind? Kinds of purchases, convenience, shopping, et cetera, et cetera. Other ones include things like rebuys, modified rebuys, straight rebuys. Those are business-to-business kind of things. Cultural meaning and colors. The perceptions that occur as a result of fast music. Taste tests would be another example of that because we did a lot of sensory stuff. Brands changing their name would be another example of that. We have a few of them in the book. Classical versus operant conditioning plays a role on the test as well, as does compensatory and non-compensatory decisions. A lot of this is fairly straightforward. Again, involvement, specialty products. The things I really hit home a lot. Things like short-term memory. We also did a little bit of work with Maslow, so you'll find Maslow on the test. We did a little bit with mass marketing as well, and how that relates to segmentation, whether one-on-one versus the whole market itself. Issues related to the size of segments, so as they get bigger, what happens? What are the bases for segmentation? Would be another one of those. The book talks about PRISM. I mentioned PRISM in class. I'd really like you to know that. Just briefly what the book talks about PRISM. It's owned by A.C. Nielsen. We also talked about vowels a little bit, and the book goes into that. I'd also like you to hit that a bit. Issues related to psychological factors. So, like, what is a psychological factor itself? Looking at the vowels framework again and others like it. What are some segment names, for example, for trendy and fashionable? Like, what would that be? Impulsive buyers. The core segments in terms of time, whether past, future, or current, or non-users, what do firms really think about in segmentation? The Pareto principle, 80-20, what does that even mean? What's the general rule of thumb about getting a new customer? What does that cost? How do companies iterate between market segments? That's another question that's on the exam. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I reserve the right to modify that, but I think that does a good job of hitting home what we mainly covered in class so far. Like I said, I probably, if I want to give you some more clues tomorrow night, that's certainly a possibility. But again, it's not that big of a test. You really should be studying the first few chapters. The only other thing is that I will write a few questions that I have not put on the exam yet for the segmentation scheme that I gave you in class. That's pretty linear, pretty basic. And so it says on those slides to know them cold, and I really mean that you should know them cold. And so that's about it. So yeah, good luck studying. It's probably a little under 40 questions. I don't think it's gonna be that big of a tough of an exam. I just kind of want to test you out, see what you're doing. So it'll be great.